It's no secret that getting feedback from your target market and your future users is critical. But in some cases, it leaves founders pivoting their app ideas when they really shouldn't be. Now, I've seen this lead to unending changes in development, over engineered apps, and launches that never happen because of it. So, we're going to talk through three situations when you absolutely should not pivot your app idea based on feedback, and three situations when you should. Do not pivot your app idea when you have the wrong user, but not the wrong product. Now, here's what I mean by that. Just because your app is not right for one person does not mean it's not right for everyone. When you get negative feedback about your app idea or about your app itself, sometimes it's actually your target market that needs narrowing versus your product or idea that needs changing. One of the best ways to grow your app and your business is to get really specific about who you serve. Narrowing down who your ideal user is will keep you from constantly pivoting your app because you're trying to serve everyone. So when you get negative feedback or critical feedback about your app or your app idea, you need to analyze it based on the type of person that's giving it. And if you realize that a certain type of person really doesn't fit within your ideal user, you need to adjust your messaging based on that. So the ways in which you talk to people about your app, change that, get more specific, and that is going to deter some people, but it's going to draw more of the right people to you. And that is what you want because that's what's ultimately going to help you grow your app. So to recap, don't pivot your app idea unless you're sure that the negative or critical feedback is coming from the right type of person. All right, now here's the next one. Don't change your app idea when you have the wrong messaging, but not the wrong product. So when you start doing your user outreach, if you don't get traction from that, instead of thinking that it's your app or your app idea that is turning people away, start testing your messaging, the ways in which you talk about or advertise your app. This is something that takes a lot of trial and error to get right, and sometimes that's unanticipated. The best way to attract users is to speak to the consequences of the problem that they're experiencing, the pain points, the frustrations, or those bigger picture desired outcomes that they want to achieve. Those are the things that are really going to resonate with people. Now, a lot of the times I see initial user outreach sounding more like this. Maybe there's a social post or an email that says, hey, I am launching an app for this type of person, and it has this feature, and this feature. Let me know if you want to try it out. And unfortunately, that type of thing just isn't going to resonate. So you have to go deeper. So remember, if you start doing your user outreach and you're really just not seeing anything come from it, test your messaging because it's a shame to see people constantly going back to the drawing board with their app or app idea itself when it's really just how they're talking about it. All right, here's the next situation when you really shouldn't pivot. Don't change your app idea or your app when you're getting negative or critical feedback, but you're not getting enough of it in the early stages with your app, whether you're validating your app idea or your actual first version app itself. You're probably not going to have a ton of people giving you feedback just yet. And because of that, when you do get feedback, it's easy to just kind of grab hold of whatever you can get and start iterating your app or your idea based on it. The critical thing here, though, is to make sure you actually have enough feedback to find trends within the feedback. It's trends in the feedback that should lead to your decisions, your pivots, your changes. If you don't have enough feedback to pull out trends, then you don't have enough feedback to make smart decisions. Hey, it's Parallel Universe Kristen here, and real quick, if you are a first-time app entrepreneur and you're trying to build an app using no-code tools so you can launch your own app-based business, but it's really hard, then check out our extended free workshop that is going to guide you through frameworks, strategies, methodology on how to become a successful app entrepreneur. It's over at coachingnocodeapps.com/workshop. Check that out. But let's head back to the video now. All right, so we've talked about some situations when you should really think twice about pivoting your app idea based on feedback, but let's talk about some situations where you really should make iterations or changes based on the feedback you're getting. Okay, so number one, you should make changes within your app when you are getting feedback from active users who are benefiting from your app, but the feedback is telling you that you have flaws or issues within the app that is causing them friction. That type of thing should be prioritized first and foremost, and you definitely should make quick changes as quickly as you can, at least, based on that type of feedback. So that's the feedback that you should prioritize first and foremost, and that is ahead of this second scenario, which is when you're getting feedback from your ideal active users that is telling you that you need to expand the app or make it robust because it's not fully meeting their needs. So this is really good feedback to use to iterate and expand your app, but it should come after fixing the flaws or the issues. You want to keep those users first who are experiencing the friction, and then you want to build on top of or expand the app after that friction is gone. Now, this third instance really just puts a bow on the first two, but you should never make changes or iterations to your app unless you are seeing trends in those first two types of feedback. Trends with the friction, trends with the next level, more robust needs. If you jump to action every time you get one piece of feedback, one idea, one suggestion, then you are never going to grow your app and your business as a whole because of it. So find the trends and make smart, informed decisions based on them. All right, I hope this was helpful, and if it was, then the videos you're about to see on the screen are going to help you take it to the next level.